So, are you just existing or are you actually living? It's one of those questions that just kind of hits you right in the gut. In our hyper-connected, incredibly fast-paced world, so many of us find ourselves stuck on this endless treadmill. We're constantly chasing things we think will finally bring us satisfaction, only to end up feeling totally drained, burnt out, and just unfulfilled. But what if there was an actual roadmap to break out of that cycle? Well, today, in this explainer, we're going to dive into exactly that. Welcome to our explainer on 10 rules to live by to find happiness and meaning. We are distilling some absolutely timeless, incredibly powerful wisdom straight from our source material into 10 structured, totally doable rules. And listen, this isn't about slapping a quick band-aid on things. It's about bringing deep, lasting fulfillment to your everyday life. So grab a coffee, get comfortable, and let's dive into this. Here is the exact journey we're taking together today. First, mastering your inner sanctuary. Second, navigating the people around you. Third, igniting your path forward. Fourth, awakening to the present. And finally, number 5, writing your own rules.
All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, Mastering Your Inner Sanctuary. This covers rules 1, 2, and 3.
So our first 3 rules are pretty fundamental. Nurture your internal world, love and accept yourself, and cut dependency from your life. Let's be real for a second. The hard truth is that jobs change, cities change, and people just naturally drift away over time. Your external world is absolutely guaranteed to shift. But the one constant, the literal only relationship guaranteed to last your entire life, it's the one you have with yourself. If that connection is toxic, man, that burden is incredibly heavy to carry around every day. So we really have to start by embracing what makes you uniquely you, accepting yourself, flaws, and the whole shebang. A really great way to visualize this is to think of your mind as a cozy little terrarium. The outside world, it's chaotic, it's unpredictable, and it is entirely out of your hands. But your internal world is this limited, contained space that you can actively tend to and make safe. You are your own most powerful ally here. You can totally control this inner environment using tools like therapy or even just simple daily breathing exercises, essentially making your mind a warm, comfortable place to actually live your life. But wait, here is a really profound insight from the source material. The goal of tending to your terrarium isn't to become some emotionless robot or to be totally impenetrable to the world. As the text notes, even our negative emotions give life color and meaning. True self-care isn't about avoiding sadness entirely. It's about quitting those exhausting childhood comparisons, forgiving your past mistakes because, hey, you can't undo them anyway, and actively building the resilience to handle the stress that is naturally going to come your way. And that brings us right to Rule 3, cutting dependency. Look, if you're relying on a flimsy foundation, like expecting your job, your city, or even your close family and friends to be perfect 24/7 and provide all your happiness, you are setting yourself up for a massive fall. People are human, they will slip up. Instead, you need to build a solid foundation where you are the only person you truly rely on. Now, if you do lose a major bedrock in your life, true strength isn't ignoring it. It comes from letting yourself actually feel that loss, processing it, and then, whenever you're ready, searching for new meaning. Okay, moving outward a bit, Section 2, Navigating the People Around You. This covers Rules 4 and 10. Rule 4 is so simple to say, but so difficult to actually do. Don't try to change people, love them exactly as they are. And Rule 10, surround yourself with things that make you feel great. We all have that one person in our lives, right? Someone we wish was just a little more organized or maybe a little more attentive. But the reality check here is that we cannot make anyone change without their own active participation, period. Think about it. Trying to force change on people just creates constant friction, and it usually causes them to pull away from you. Treating someone else's life like it's your personal DIY project just does not work. On the flip side, loving them as they are, that brings incredible peace. It gives them warmth and actually allows them the space to grow on their own terms. Now, obviously, there is a very strict exception here. This applies to normal, everyday flaws, not abuse. If someone is actively harming you, you should never, ever wait around or try to love someone through abuse. Your only focus there needs to be getting safe. This concept builds right into Rule 10 with what the source calls the energy audit. If you genuinely want to surround yourself with things that make you feel great, you need hard data. Try keeping your journal and actually track how you feel after things. After a coffee date, a workout class, or a long workday, do you feel refreshed and energized or worn completely empty? This audit is a game changer for identifying and walking away from toxic connections. But keep in mind,
A good relationship that just requires some extra work during a rough patch is very different from a toxic connection that consistently drains you dry. Keep the good ones, work through the rough patches, and drop the energy vampires. All right, let's shift gears. Section 3, igniting your path forward. Exploring rules 5, 6, and 8. These 3 rules are absolutely all about momentum. Rule 5 tells us to never stop learning. Rule 6 says to follow your fire. And Rule 8 reminds us to play the long game. On the topic of learning, our source makes a fantastic point that really flips conventional thinking right on its head. Being willing to listen to unconventional viewpoints and actually being open to changing your mind, that isn't a weakness, it's a massive asset. It brings this deep, quiet confidence to all your interactions. And Rule 6 is where we really bring some serious life back into your daily routine by treating passion as a literal superpower. So many people out there define their entire lives by end results and empty job titles. But what if, instead, you actively chased fulfilling experiences? Try making some art without stressing for a second over your skill level or the final product. Use your genuine curiosity to push your career forward instead of just relying on external validation. Or, I don't know, challenge yourself to learn all the world capitals by the end of the month, literally just for the fun of it. Now, I want you to lock in on this number for a second. 3. For Rule 8, which is playing the long game, you have to get super concrete. Sit down and set exactly 3 big goals that you truly want. Not what your parents want, not what society wants for you, but what you actually want. Then support those big goals with mundane, happy daily routines. If your goal is better health, maybe you finally cut out that nightly glass of wine. If it's a rock-solid marriage, you schedule a non-negotiable weekly date night. It's these little, seemingly boring building blocks that create massive long-term benefits.
Next up, Section 4, Awakening to the Present, Rules 7 and 9.
Here we have Rule 7, savor the moment you have now, and Rule 9, shake up your life early and often. Seriously, think about this. Spending your entire life agonizing over the past or obsessively plotting out the future is a tragic waste of the present. The past is long gone. The future isn't even here yet, so right now is literally all you have.
There is some truly fascinating psychology behind why we struggle so much to be present. You hear the word mindfulness and you probably think of some mystical, untouchable state, right? But it's not. Often, our inability to stay in the moment is actually a lingering childhood emotional defense mechanism. If you were unhappy as a kid, you learn to mentally distance yourself from pain, which means you accidentally learn to distance yourself from the present moment entirely. But you can overcome this. Just ask yourself simple, grounding questions. How is the temperature in this room right now? What am I physically feeling in my body this exact second? It snaps you right back to reality.
And to keep that present moment feeling fresh and exciting, Rule 9 tells us to embrace the magic in newness. Experiencing something totally unique subconsciously reminds your brain of life's endless possibilities. Honestly, it's the ultimate cure for that feeling of listlessness and low energy. And it doesn't have to be crazy. It can be big leaps, sure, like a spontaneous weekend trip or taking an axe throwing class, but it can also be small, tiny daily shifts, like wearing some ridiculous fun socks or just trying a new restaurant for lunch. Just shake the whole routine up. And finally, Section 5, writing your own rules. Time to create your personal mantra.
So, we've walked through all 10 rules, but now it's time to take them and mold them into your very own personal operating system. The source provides some really incredible examples of translating abstract values into powerful guiding mottos. Take health, for example. Instead of just vaguely saying, I want to be healthy, try a vivid mantra like, my body is a garden and my willpower is the gardener. Or for self-acceptance, how about, this is the only self I'll ever have, so I plan to love her. Putting your rules into concrete words like this really honors what you truly believe in at your core.
The final piece of this whole puzzle is summarized so beautifully by certified recovery coach Rachel Cove from our source material. She points out that true fulfillment only happens when you directly map your stated values to concrete daily actions. If connection is your rule, the action is making one phone call a day. If it's creativity, the action is dedicating specific time to paint or write. Your values absolutely must become verbs.
Which leaves us with one final, pretty important thought to ponder. Will you keep following everyone else's path, just living by default, and chasing things that ultimately leave you feeling empty? Or is it time to take these lessons, build your solid foundation, and actively write your own rules for a truly fulfilling life? The choice is entirely yours.
Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer today. Now go start tending to your inner terrarium.